7 years on, different managers. Let's see what the result will be relative to that. Cork won that last game narrowly. Finton away on the attack straight away from the throw-in for Dublin, but it was telegraphed inside to Matty Taylor, and the Mallow man needs no invitation to take off on the counter-attack. To Rory Maguire, left-hand side in midfield. Cork have moved at pace at various times in this match. Maguire to Brian O'Driscoll, a bit quieter today maybe than the day in Kildare, running laterally across the field, gives it towards Shawnee Powter, walking his way forward. How Cork would love another goal like Powter got the last day. Owen McSweeney having a very industrious game out around the middle of the field. He has possession now. Taylor is on the overlap. If Stephen Sherlock would see him, Sherlock has the ball now, goes back into a little bit of trouble but comfortably retains possession. Back to Daniel O'Mahony, who made that very important challenge early on in the game, which saw the ball go down the field and Cork had a goal at the far side of the field with it. Maurice Shanley now getting a touch, and lots of Cork players involved early on in this game, so it's nice to see them settling down at the start of the second half with plenty of possession. They're not really bothering Dublin at the moment though. Changing gear at the moment just temporarily by Sean Powter. Takes them to the 45 on a solo run now, keeping forward, then the pass forward to Brian Hurley, flicked it to McSweeney over his head on the run. McSweeney's in the top of the left roll now, has to go back again, gives it back to Brian Hurley. He's on the 20 metre line, gives it back to Brian O'Driscoll, went to go left and decided to go right, and then brought Ian Maguire into the game again, and then Cork go crossfield 45 out from goal. Here's a chance to the far side for Luke Fahey on the attack again, trying to conjure something up. Chris O'Jones has the ball, releases it up the far side again. Cork still trying to get a scoring opportunity. Stephen Sherlock might be within range now, just trying to get the radar, and maybe 1 point would turn it from just a couple of wide so far today for the normally very accurate Sherlock. Now there's a chance of Cork going for a score. It's kicked in by Brian Hurley this time, and it's gone left and wide. It remains 1-6 Cork, 10 points Dublin.
Yeah, a big difference staying into the wind, John. Owen McSweeney, you remember, had a chance down here on the 13. He had about a second to kick it. If that was in the first half, that was a point, but he didn't have the range. He felt he didn't have the range to do it. Look at Dublin out the long ball.
Long ball in, finds Dean Rock, who's ghosted over to the top of the left position. A foul being committed on him as Ross McGarry received the ball from Rock. Tug of the jersey, I'd imagine, so there might be a free in on the 20 metre line. Ian Maguire the guilty party. Dublin with a chance to turn a 1 point lead into a 2 point lead in the northern stand side of the field, about 13 or 14 metres in from the sideline on the 20 metre line. Third minute of the second half, 10 points to 1-6, and the referee has shown, just as I was looking down, has he shown a second yellow and then a red? It looks like it's Ian Maguire, the Cork number 9s. We just took our eyes off it. The referee is calling, he'd awarded a free initially, then he called back the Cork player. Maguire's pleading his innocence. It was an innocuous looking foul in the first stage, but maybe did he get a yellow in the first half, John?
Well, it seems he did. And to be honest, John, I didn't see any foul. If it was, he's saying he pulled him off the ball. He's saying he cut his jersey off the ball. My God, John, if we were going to give yellow cards for every one of them, there's an amount of that going on in the game at all levels. And he has picked on that one, and it's a shame because the crowd don't like this now. That's going to take from the game. With Ian Maguire gone, you're down a man, but more importantly, you're down a key man around the middle to trundle the ball from one end to the other. Ball carrier, stroke, transitioner all the way. And he's a leader there around the middle, and he's going to be a loss. And Dublin had a chance to go 2 up. We didn't anticipate being down a man as well as being into the wind. It's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, huge disappointment. The referee definitely gave the signal that the jersey had been tugged, and he deemed that the Cork player was holding the Dublin man back, and that was a second bookable offence on top of a first half yellow. So to the letter of the law he played it, but it's disappointing. It's a cheap yellow card, and it's huge disappointment for Maguire as he goes off. And we watched Dean Rock just line this one up on the left hand side of the exclusion zone, right footed, give Dublin a 2 point lead.
Yeah, and John, I just seen the Bannister Desi Farrell talking to Kieran Kilkenny, and you can be sure you know what that conversation was about. They're now going to work their extra man, and knowing Dublin, they will have a practice for this, and they're not going to have him just sitting back. They're going to have him coming up through the middle and creating an overlap.
Yeah, a huge workload now for Cork, obviously, against the wind. 4 minutes gone second half, 11 to 1-6 the scoreboard against them. In the mix of the middle of the field, Colmore Callan fists the ball down. Rory Maguire gets it. The referee saw free but allowed the advantage. Tommy Walsh busting forward now, lays the ball off on the right hand side of the field. Cork looking for something from somewhere with Owen McSweeney, kicking the ball to Chris O'Jones in the top of the right position, isolated with Cian Murphy, tried to step inside, but Dublin have enough blue back now just to thwart that route to goal. That's going to be the difficulty now for Cork to try and find the space that they did in the first half, with Dublin having the insurance of the extra man. Matty Taylor trying to go out the left wing now to set something up for Cork, and goes through the gap with two Dublin players, but they're still chasing him over to the line. A give and go to Brian Hurley. Hurley gets it and runs back out the field and kicks the ball with the right boot back out to the Cork man in the middle of the field, Colm O'Callaghan, who was involved initially in the movement and is involved again as he gives it now towards the cornerback Maurice Shanley, and he'll go right at the far side towards the other cornerback Tommy Walsh. Walsh is 40 out from goal, lays the ball off. Chance for Cork going forward with Chris O'Jones, lays the ball off. Now Jones gets it from Powter, left footed. It'd be a lovely score if he can get it. It's a pity because you just feel the chances might be at a premium in the second half. Left footed, didn't measure it properly, and it's gone. It remains 11-1-6, and Dublin with the space and abundance now as the game has restarted. Plenty of movement, plenty of green grass in front of them. Brian Fenton laying the ball right now with a fist in the middle of the park towards Kieran Kilkenny, and he coming forward and he uses the boot now to kick the ball into the right corner. This is dangerous. It's been picked up by Conor Callan running forward on his goal. He's got to fist it over. It was probably the right option because Dublin now lead by 3. They lead by 12-1-6, and you get the feeling, John, this could be a long second half.
Yeah, and you know that's a 2-point turnaround, John, because Chris O'Jones had a chance off his weaker left. And I just feel that this player needs a little bit more time to bed in, a little bit more experience, and a little bit more confidence in himself. If that was a club level game and the very same opportunity came around, that would be over the bar. Missed it, wide on his own side, and Dublin certainly have the advantage here now. But Colm O'Callaghan won a great ball from the kick out.
Yeah, it's a great claim by him. Dublin have Lee Gannon standing in front of Chris O'Jones with Cian Murphy behind him, so he's the free man, Lee Gannon. Now a lot of Dublin players are a long way ahead of Gannon, so he's got to cut out anything that's going to come through. Cork have won a free after that great catch by Colm O'Callaghan. They're on the attack. Sean Powter having got it from Matty Taylor, 45 out from goal. A bit of energy needed now from Cork. They've shown plenty of it so far in this game so far. That's a high challenge. It's definitely going to be a yellow card. The Cork crowd showed for a black card or some other kind of a colour to be administered to Padder or Cuffig Bun, but I'd say it probably is going to be a yellow card. 45 out from goal. It's going to be a free. It was a high challenge. We wonder what the chat is going to result in, but I would imagine John Fenton is probably going to be a yellow.
Yeah, and in rugby union, my other favourite sport, that would be a guaranteed in the bin. You'd be guaranteed yellow card and you would be in the bin because it's a high challenge and it would not be allowed. What's he going to do here? It's a yellow.
Yeah, he took long enough, the referee talking to Cuffig Bun there, suggesting that that's what it was going to be. That's what it was. Now there's a free for Brian Hurley. There's a lot of work to do with this. 45 out from goal, almost dead straight in front of the goalpost. A lot of work to do to kick this one over. Cork are looking to Rory Dean to come into the action, possibly for Stephen Sherlock. That's the change that's been made. Sherlock just hasn't settled today. He's been outstanding for Cork so far with 18 points scored in this league campaign so far. His football overall has been excellent, but he just was a little bit off cue with some of his shots today. And Cork now need fresh legs and a big body somewhere around the middle of the field, and they've looked to Rory Dean to answer the call. Meantime, Brian Hurley with 5 points on the scoreboard already. A big kick for him. 45 out from goal. It's a long walk up to it. He has the ball on the ground into the breeze, into the city goal. Cork need a score. They trail by 12 points to 1-6. Here we go with the right foot from Brian Hurley. It's on its way, but it's just gone away to the left, drifted away left and wide. Much more difficult now against that breeze.
Tis, and I think the Cork thinking, we'll watch it here now, but I'm wondering, are they using Rory Dean maybe on the middle for Ian Maguire and drop a man back from their forward line? Obviously they had to do that already, but I think maybe that's what they're doing, hoping that they'll be able to plug that gap. Dublin are bringing in 21 as well. Number 21, James McCarthy, and we know that man well. A few jeers as well as cheers for him coming in. Their number 24 who starts the game, Padder Cuffig Byrne, who I think got a yellow. Actually, John, I think he's been taken off over the yellow he's received, and I think that's a tactical manoeuvre by Dublin not to tempt fate, and Cork have retreated away from the kick out, and Dublin have collected at almost the middle of the field and nobody there to mark.
So Cork on the defence for the moment as Dublin go on the attack here in the middle of the park. It's Kieran Kilkenny, a crossfield pass for him. Options are plenty now for Dublin. Mick Fitzsimons is used and he might go again and make himself available. The ball kicked into the corner instead, into the top left corner to Conor Callan. What can the Dubs do at this stage? Maurice Shanley just holding his line inside there. Dublin walking the angles well. They're not going to panic to shoot or anything. They have plenty of options. Dean Rock is in the shooting range now, 40 metres out from goal, right footed on the left wing. Excellent point by Dean Rock. Plenty of patience there. Rock just available, took his time, sized it up from a standing start and scored a 13 point for Dublin. They now lead by 4, 13-1-6.
Yeah, Dizzy Fowler will be delighted with that, John, because we don't see Dean Rock score from play very often anymore. He scored a lovely deft one in the first half, and that wasn't further out. And that's Dean Rock of 7 or 8 years ago when we used to see it regularly. He's after scoring 6, but importantly here now, he's after scoring his second from play. It now gives daylight between the teams. They've gone up 4. Cock of it all to do. We need to see, can Rory Dean add something to this team? Because the need is greatest now. Has he got the legs for it? Has he got the mobility and the work rate for it? It will need to happen here for him.
4 points between the teams as Cork try to muster up attack. Incidentally, the last league meeting in 2016 in Croke Park in the group stages finished with a 4-point win for Dublin, 214-210. They've gathered the ball and turned it over and won it back with Kieran Kilkenny. An incident possibly off the ball. Well, according to the crowd, they've looked back. Sean Pulver's gone down on the ground. The referee is keeping going. No hand up from the umpire or the linesman. Dublin on the attack, 60 metres out from goal. They lead by 4, 13-1-6 at the moment. Boos ring around Páirc Creeve at the moment. The acceleration of John Small takes him into the scoring range for Dublin. Back to Dean Rock, whose coolness personified at right half forward, just kicks the ball inside to Tom Lahiff, and he sends it across to Niall Scully. And Dublin playing at their own pace now, keeping the ball with Darren Newcombe. Try to just measure the ball down the left hand side of the field. They'll get the players into the range where they want them to go for score. Niall Scully laid it off over there to Cormac Costello. Is he going to find the range as it's gone in? In fact, it's Darren Newcombe, I think, kicking it from the left hand side of the field. Lots of boos around, but John Fenton Daly, was there anything in that last incident?
Do you know what now, John? Quite honestly, I don't believe so. Sean Potter came through the ball and he basically lost it, and he went in. The Dublin player did give him a bit of a shoulder, but it was almost simultaneously with he losing possession. I don't believe there was anything in it, and that's the truth. But I think the Cork crowd, they're trying to make a meal of it. I don't think there was a whole lot in it myself.
So Darren Newcombe's point extends the Dublin advantage to lead by 14 points to 1 goal and 6. We've gone almost 12 second half minutes now without Cork bothering the scorekeeper. The referee now is going to that point of that crime. Cork are looking. The Cork crowd are certainly looking for something from the referee's back pocket in terms of card, and they have got it, because there was a yellow first and then a yellow led to a red. The Dublin man making his way off was already being booked. So at 14 points to 1 goal and 6, we are back to even Stephen on the field of play as Cork are ready to bring on a forward into the attack, and Conor Corbett might have a lot more licence now when he comes on. Dublin don't have the insurance of Lee Gannon standing there at right half back, and he being the extra man running across that line. 14 Dublin players play 14 Cork players at the moment. Maybe was there a lot about it, we don't know, but the referee has squared it up here. It's 14 against 14 here, and Dublin with Lee Gannon off the field, and Cork with 14 points. Dublin with 14 points on the board. Cork with 1-6 is still there. It's still a big ask. They're 5 points down, and it's going to be against the wind. Micheál A. Martin with the kick out after that long stoppage into the mix. 14 against 14, broken down by Paul Fenton, only to Rory Maguire, being put under a lot of pressure by Ross McGarry as he goes back though. Maguire gets it towards Matty Taylor, and Taylor is fouled as he tried to break through a tackle. Is quickly taken by Brian O'Driscoll. 5 points between the teams. Cork need a score now at the start of the second half from somewhere. Owen McSweeney very good in the first half, kicks it forward to Brian Hulley, was absolutely excellent. He's in the top of the right position, taking on Keane Murphy inside in the right corner with the left boot. It's a fantastic score by Brian Hulley. He really is giving an exhibition today. Wonderful score. Again, the more space now for that ball to be kicked forward. Hulley took the opportunity, kicked it between the posts. We still wait the arrival of Conor Corbett. Welcome scorer.
Yeah, and it's good to have him on the bench. We'll watch, see now, will Dublin play the long ball. Now there is a spare man dropping back for Cork. Rory Maguire is dropping back. Dublin have the ball, but yeah, it evens up the game somewhat. Mind you, John, I think the Dublin player, I think the Cork player, Prouter, made a meal of that. I don't believe there's anything in it. I don't think there's a foul at all, and that's the truth.
Cormac Costello set up Kieran Kilkenny, and Dublin on the attack now as Kilkenny lays the ball off. It's going to come back out the field again. Scoring chance for the Dubs after it was sent down by Ross McGarry. Dublin still with it. Mick Fitzsimons involved in the action, 45 out from goal. All of the Cork players back, bar two defending this as the kick comes in from Brian Fenton, looking for his first point in the league campaign to follow on those 2 goals. He doesn't raise a flag. That'll give a trifle encouragement again to the Cork crowd here, who were delighted over to far stand there to see. They had a bird's eye view of the way Brian Hurley came in from the right corner, and with the left foot, his second with his left boot today, landed that first point for Cork in the second half. 14 plays, 1-7 at the moment here. Dubs' first visit, as we said, in 11 years to Leaside here. Let's see if Cork can make it a day to remember. But the Reds with work to do. They've won the ball from the kick out, and old McSweeney again tearing forward there. Right-footed, kicking the ball inside. Can it be clawed down inside the corner by Brian Hurley? The crowd claiming a free. The referee agree as well that Cian Murphy fouled the Castlehaven man as he went for the ball, and that's going to be a tap over point. And Cork again in the second half, and in particular Hurley, showing that they can cause problems.
Yeah, I'll tell you, John, this referee is being influenced, and there's no doubt about it. I just said it to Finbar there. I don't think Brian Hurley was actually fouled there. And it's a classic case. We'll send off it for the one team. You've got to give the advantage to the other. Cork will kick this over, and it'll bring it back to a 3-point game. But it'll be interesting to see how Dublin react here now, because they don't get rattled very easily, and we haven't seen much of their inside forwards. We'll have to wait and see whether Rory Dean has the impact around the middle to keep Cork with a good bit of possession. Now Brian Hurley has fallen awkwardly, but I imagine he'll be alright. But certainly he has turned the game a few unexpected events in the second half. Old McSweeney gave a lovely ball in the air against the corner, and there's more names being taken. I think Colm O'Callaghan and some Dublin players are being booked at the moment.
It looks like possibly a brace of yellow cards. The referee has chatted to both players. Hadn't showed the cards yet though. Dublin man with his word with Colm O'Callaghan there. The two of them have walked away together, and it's a brace of yellow cards. Meantime, the game will resume with Brian Hurley taking this free. Dublin 4-1 on to win this match this morning. Cork 7-2, 10-1 in the bookmakers should have got for the draw. At the moment, Dublin 14 points. Cork 1 goal and 7 when they met in Croke Park in the summer to qualify for the championship. It was 21 points to 10. Dublin just kicked on, coming down the home straight, and drove on and won in the end with something to spare. Here, this one far from finished yet. We're at the midway point almost of the second half, the 3/4-way stage of the contest. Brian Hurley thankfully is up on his feet. He's been a star man for this team in red today, no question about it. He's been absolutely excellent on the 20-metre line, able to kick this one with the right boot out of the hands, would bring it back to a 3-point game. That he does. 14 points to 1 goal and 8. Lots to play for coming down the home straight. Substitutes: James McCarthy on for Dublin, Rory Dean on for Cork. We'll see Conor Corbett sure very, very quickly. He's doing a lot of stretching down there. He should be on shortly though. Maybe just a different mindset now when they were reduced to 14 apiece. Dublin on the attack with Niall Scully, the number 10, in the middle of the park, stabs the ball across field. Dublin now will size up what's ahead of them here. Plenty of massed ranks. The Cork defence by and large have defended pretty well here today as Mick Fitzsimons takes it so far and then lays the ball off. It's going to come back to Brian Fenton, standing in the middle of the field, toe tapping the ball, Soling running forward to the 65, forced to go back again. Matty Taylor just changed his side track there for a moment, but Fenton gets the ball back again. Still in the middle of the park, just playing a couple of passes with Niall Scully, exchanging passes there, the two of them together, and eventually the ball is sent out the far wing to Fitzsimons as Dublin now inject a bit of pace in the game and send it down, but that ball into the corner for Conor Calla, for Ross McGarry was miscontrolled, and that's going to be a sideline for Cork. So Cork well in this game. At the break, remember, they were a point behind, 10 points to 1-6. At the moment, they've got 2 second half points. Dublin have got 4, so the margin at the moment reads at 3, 14 points to 1 goal and 8. Micheál Martin in possession. The Cork goalkeeper has the ball following that sideline and gives it to us. It's cornerback Maurice Shanley, the Clonakilty player, out the right wing. He gives it, and Dublin now will try and face up to this Cork attack. More space out in the field at the moment, 14 against 14. Remember, Colm O'Callaghan held up as he attempted to go forward. Cork come back into a central role there to Daniel O'Mahony. He's going to kick it just across the field towards Luke Fahey, who's operating for the moment in the left half back role. All of this time Conor Corbett is ready and I'm sure willing to get into the action as Cork give it to Tommy Walsh via Brian O'Driscoll, and now they've crossed halfway. They get it to Matty Taylor. Taylor tries to go up the left wing. It's pretty congested there. Rory Dean comes in to give him assistance. He goes around Tom Lahiff. Good ball by Rory Dean to Matty Taylor. Matty Taylor within the scoring range. Matty Taylor with a superb goal. A wonderfully worked goal by Matty Taylor. Left footed across the Dublin keeper David O'Hanlon and into the corner of the net. What a wonderful goal, John Fenton Daly.
Yeah, well, we spoke about goals being vital. We didn't know if Cork would have the goal scoring power, and Matty Taylor, Dublin, they have been playing in the comfort zone there up to the time that they had their own man sent off. And now we have a level game, and this game is now in the balance. No one at the half-time expected Cork would win this, and it's really on its head now. We have a big question about Dublin's ability now to pull this out, because they haven't really been performing the last 10 minutes.
Lots of changes happening. Conor Corbett is on, Chris Oak-Jones is off. Dublin also brought on David Bunn and Colin Basquel into the Dublin team. At the moment, though, it's all square, 2-8 to 14 points. A great response from a Cork point of view. Wonderful response there to the concession of a couple of scores which looked like maybe they would put them down a slippery slope in the second half. But a wonderful response. Ross McGarry, one of the Dublin players, just coming off there. But as we said, David Bunn and Colin Basquel on, Conor Corbett on for the Rebels as well. 2-8 plays 14 points here. Cork have scored 2 goals against the Dubs with 15 minutes remaining. Dublin going forward with Mick Fitzsimons over on the right hand side of the attack here. 30 out from goal, back to big Tom Lehiff wearing 9 in the middle of the field. Sends the ball back to a centre back, John Small, who in turn will go crossfield again to the left, and they'll go down this avenue maybe. Coming out down the left hand side of the field. Let's see what they're going to do. Darren Newcombe involved in the movement. Again, it's the centre back, John Small, who has possession now to Mick Fitzsimons. Fitzsimons going down now, going to be met by Colm O'Callaghan inside the 13 metre line, heading for the in line here. He'll have to recycle the ball back out again, get a bit of an angle as it comes back to Newcombe again. And Newcombe plays the ball just very casually back out to one of the substitutes, David Bunn. He's come on there with Colin Basquel onto the Dublin team. Back to Cian Muffy, the right cornerback who found the range in the first half. Now to Brian Fenton, 60 out from goal. Right footed, plenty of room in the game now, plenty of space. Mick Fitzsimons is staying up in the attack. Sends the ball, a good kick pass inside. Here's a chance for Dublin and Cormac Costello. He's going to lay the ball off to Brian Fenton, and Fenton has a point at the end of a very, very cool and calculated and calm build up by Dublin. That score by Brian Fenton puts Dublin ahead by 1. They lead here by 15 points to 2 goals and 8.
Yeah, good score by Fenton. Classic Fenton off his left foot this time. Cork now with 14 aside, a 40 aside game. They're dropping everybody back for the Dublin kick out. And Dublin are dropping back now beyond the 45 and the defensive zone as well. So it's a question of which team can break down that, which kick pass can get into space and create the overlap and create the possession inside where the score is possible. Cork with Brian O'Driscoll breaking forward, and now it's Sean Powell.
Sean Powell going through the middle of the Dublin defence. 40 out from goal, great acceleration after Colm O'Callaghan. O'Callaghan goes inside the Pal Elrigan, go for goal. The shot came in from Cian Muffy, the block came in from Cian Muffy, and that's diverted the ball behind for a 45. But it's encouraging, not once but twice in the last couple of minutes, to see Cork making progress through the Dublin numbers, and particularly up the left hand side of the field, up the left wing there. Rory Dean very much involved in setting up the movement. There's another Dublin change being made now at the moment, and off the field is Cian Muffy, and this is the man wearing number 7 coming in. That's Jack McCaffrey, who's wearing number 7. And the interesting point, it was Owen Mutchin who was named originally to wear number 7, but he's coming in. So Dublin bring in Basquel and Bunn, James McCarthy and Jack McCaffrey now in this second half. Cork with Rory Dean and Conor Corbett in. Everybody now watching Brian Huldy. Not an easy kick, as I said. He had one a few moments ago from similar distance, 45 out from goal. This is slightly left of the red spot on the bar, so it'll suit him with the right foot. He needs a long run up to it. The last one he kicked just faded or just drifted away to the left of the goal. He'll need a bit more air in this one, a bit more distance. The ball is on its way. It looked to be carrying the same flight path. It went inside into the hands of the goalkeeper, David O'Hanlon. Dublin lead 15 points to 2 goals and 8 with 12 minutes remaining here, and Dublin straight into the hands of Jack McCaffrey, getting him into the game straight away, and David Bunn involved as well. They lead, remember, by a point, Dublin. They have possession in the middle of the field. They're trying to plough through the Cork defence now with big Brian Fenton, who got the score a few moments ago to set them on their way. Cormac Costello with the ball. Now we see John Small accelerating from centre back onto the right boot. He might go for a score. He decides to solo. Daniel O'Mahony did well just to force him wide, so Small had to come back again and lay the ball off. It's gone back now towards Dean Rock. Rock will lay it back to where it came from for Cormac Costello. Dublin players attacking the Blackrock goal on the right hand side of the attack. All of this happening. Kieran Kilkenny now picks it up. He runs centrally along the 45 metre line, being forced out there by Rory Maguire, and Dublin will extend the ball out the far side to David Bunn. Another one of the second half new additions here. He tries to get the ball inside. No, they've decided to keep possession, keep what they have. Back to Jack McCaffrey with those distinctive orange boots as he runs forward. Oh, there's space in abundance now for a Dublin man coming forward. That's James McCarthy, and James McCarthy has popped it between the posts. A number of the subs involved in that movement. Again, it was very patient play. They sought out the shooter. They got the shooter. He found the range, and Dublin leads 16-2-8.
Yeah, but it's an indication of how serious it is for Dublin that they had to bring on both Jack McCaffrey and James McCarthy into the team. So McCaffrey, obviously, a huge addition to him going forward for the championship. Cork on the attack, they're 2 points down. And there's a lot of play to go yet. There's 10 minutes of normal time to go. Anything could happen here yet.
Old McSweeney in possession of the football in the middle of the field to the Castlehaven centre-back Rory Maguire, stepping up now inside, about 60 out from goal. Cork now playing like Dublin did in the last attack, just keeping the ball, waiting for that space and that movement to open up there so that they can go forward. In the meantime, John O'Rourke has been given his instructions by John Cleary. He's going to be in the action. Matty Taylor, the goal scorer, goes off on another run on the left wing. Inside a couple of metres, he gives it there. Short pass there towards Conor Corbett, the man that came into the field a few moments ago. Conor Corbett stepped inside the challenge, was fouled as he did so. So Brian Hurley has this free a little bit nearer to goal. No Stephen Sherlock now in terms of sharing those free taking duties. Remember, he substituted a few moments ago by Conor Corbett. So Brian Hurley has this free slightly near the 45 than the 20 metre line, about 12 or less, maybe 11 metres in from the southern stand here, taking this one out of the hand, needs to send it to the right post and hope that will call around. He's got it right this time, Brian Hurley. We're back to a 1 point game. It's 16 points to 2 goals and 9, and the Cork changed his own McSweeney, who put in a really good shift coming off, and he's replaced by John O'Rourke with 22 on his back. Todd Cork change.
Yeah, I think Owen McSweeney is seen as a player who will run himself into the ground, and he has probably on the GPS, he's probably put in more yards than anyone, so it's no surprise to see him change before it's over, because when you're playing in the modern game as a half forward, as a wing forward, certainly or a wing back, you see more action than anybody else does, and it's often the case. The best thing is to replace a guy like that when he runs out of steam. I'd say the fuel tank was empty there. Dublin now on the attack. It's still a 1 point game, John, and they can't shake off Cork.
And Killian O'Halloran will be next into the action. He's been ready. There's one change was made, and Dublin go on the attack down the far side with Jack McCaffrey. They're inside the scoring range again. Within the range, can he get himself into a shooting range? Gives it across field to Tom Lahiff. He keeps it going to John Small, centre back, right footed, but he's wide at the far side as he kicked it as he advanced into the 20 metre line. So it remains one between him, 16 to 2 goals and 9. Killian O'Halloran, a big presence in so many Cork teams, is now going to be entered into the field, and maybe just wondering was that the number 11 was going up there. I think it is Sean Powter's coming off, and Killian O'Hanlon, number 21, is coming on. So 4 Cork subs have been made and 4 Dublin subs have been made. It's all changed here in this enjoyable game of football here. Cork, remember, won the National League Division 1 title 3 times in succession, 2010 to 2012, beating Dublin in the final in 2011, and Mayo on the other 2 occasions. They also won the Division 2 title in 2009. So they were a dominant team at the end of the decade, the first decade and the start of the last one. They'd love to try and advance their credentials here this afternoon. They have the ball with them from the kick out. 7.5 minutes remaining. 16 plays, 2 goals and 9. Killian O'Hanlon gets the ball to Brian O'Driscoll. Might go for the return, the Kilshannig man. O'Driscoll has gone out the right wing. O'Hanlon making himself available, decides to step back. He's going to get it now inside the 45 metre line to Matty Taylor, who's been here, there and everywhere. What a change of pace by Matty Taylor again into the right corner. Cork trying to conjure up something in terms of a score. Back it goes to Brian O'Driscoll. This might be the kick. 30 out from goal, just a little bit shy. I think it might have got a touch on the way as well into the grateful arms of David O'Hanlon, and he gave it to Mick Fitzsimons. And Dublin will try and break, and they have won a free, definitely. Just a little bit of over-aggression there by the Corkman, Brian Hurley. So Dublin on the attack here. Got the ball as far as halfway at the moment with Cormac Costello. Oh, quick pass to Mick Fitzsimons. He's kept it going inside. Call for the mark as the ball landed inside, and that's going to be a Dublin point, surely, as it went through 16 to 2 goals and 9. The extra man that ran in there, Mick Fitzsimons, he loves to go forward, doesn't he? He did what he had to do, got the pass, laid it off, kicked it inside, and Cormac Costello won the mark and kicked the point, and Dublin lead by 2 again, 17 to 2-9. Yeah,
quick break from Dublin out of the defence. They worked that ball very well. Shot kick out to Denlow Manny again. Both teams, quite unusual really, but both teams have completely conceded the opposition's kick out, and they're just saying, come on, we'll defend here, you come at us. Cork have a lot of changes, fresh legs in there. and they'll be trying to bring it, cut it back. But every time they do, Dublin seem to have the ability to kick that extra point. They have a 2-point lead again. It'll be difficult, but it's not beyond them. There's 6 minutes in normal. There should be 3 or 4 minutes of injury time, considering the amount of cards the referee issued. There was certainly a lot of stoppages.
Cork in the middle of the field. They don't have Colin Manny to call upon, of course, after that hamstring injury on Wednesday night in the Sigerson, but they have this man going forward, Rory Maguire, 45 out from goal. There was plenty of space allowed to him, so he went forward, got the return, now trying to keep ball at the far side, back to Brian Hurley, within the range, possibly jinking and weaving, back to Brian O'Driscoll. The last shot was a bit shy, had forced a foul as a Dublin defender, and that's going to be a free in, and that's within kicking range. Good work by the two Brians, Brian O'Driscoll and Brian Hurley there. It was O'Driscoll who was fouled. It'll be Hurley who will take the free, 26 metres out from goal. A chance just to put 1 point between them. Cork Sports Sunday on C103. Remember, next Sunday is Cork and Westmeath and Hurling. Is Cork against Limerick in football. A double header here, and Cork Arc will benefit from ticket sales of premium seats as well next week. It's an awareness day. Both Cork teams will wear the Cork Arc logo on their jerseys, and next week in a special promotion. We'll have more about that a little later on Cork Sports Sunday. Right now we're watching Brian Hurley from the right hand side of the exclusion zone. Cork need a score, and Hurley has delivered big time today, John Fenton Daly.
Fantastic performance, John. He's 5 first half points, 3 from Clay, 4 second half points, 1 from Play. So that's 9 points from Brian Hurley. Normally that's down to Sherlock, but Hurley today is the man. Dublin now on James McCarthy, and this is a guy who's on a yellow already. And as you say, they have James, they have the man with the coloured boots, Jack McCaffrey in there as well. We'll see the lead for this feature before it's over.
4 minutes remaining in the contest. 17 plays 2-10. It is Dublin by 1. John Small in the middle of the field. Dublin will, I'm sure, try and guide this out and try and manage this game like they've done in so many tight games before. Brian Fenton prods the ball forward. Dublin with possession. Conor Callan being bottled up there. Ball is spilled back towards in the direction of Small, and eventually back to Fenton, and Fenton picks it up and he sends it over the far side. Here's Jack McCaffrey looking for a second score. Maybe he lays the ball off this time. All goal opportunity for Dublin here. Oh, great block came in. Ball is still loose on the edge of the square. Dublin trying to go in. Cork trying to come out. Rowan Maguire has won a free. The Dublin man, McCaffrey, doesn't want to give back the ball to the Cork man to restart the game, but it looked dangerous at one stage. There was a bit of a daylight there at John Fenton Daly, a chink of light where Dublin looked like they might be in for a goal chance. It's going to be a yellow, I would imagine, for Jack McCaffrey.
In retrospect, I think the point was the thing to take there, fisted over the bar. They were trying to force that issue. Jack McCaffrey is going to get booked. Got a hard time from the Cork supporters since he came on. I don't know what he's done to Cork. Maybe they're just worried about him. They're trying to put him off, but he's going to get a yellow for his trouble. Foolish really by him, because the referee given it and he didn't let it go, and I imagine it's a yellow he's going to be pulling up for him.
Some return from this game would be vital. The referee spoke and then eventually gave the yellow to Jack McCaffrey. Cork a point behind, 3 minutes remaining. Crucial day, the third day of matches in the league. Rory Dean bust forward now for Cork, laying the ball off. Have they won a free? Tommy Walsh kept it going though, laid the ball off. He'll give it back out the field again towards John O'Rourke. Cork looking for a score from somewhere. Tommy Walsh 45 out from goal. They're a point behind at the moment. Less than 3 minutes remaining, 2.5 plus stoppage time remaining. Attacking the goal on our left, into the breeze in the second half with Rory Dean. Matty Taylor wants to make a surge forward. Dean wants to take it on himself. Then lays the ball off inside. It's going to come back out the field to Killian O'Hanlon again. He's another one of those changes laid on in the game that might be able to swing the day from a Cork point of view. John O'Rourke was involved. Now Brian Hurley's involved. Brian Hurley running forward, has the space. Oh, it just went away right and wide. Brilliant to create the space, brilliant to run forward. It just went a little bit too high and it went wide of the post.
Yeah, John, it's amazing because that was a lot of an easier chance, and he created the chance himself. Well, it was created for him, but he made the space, and it was actually a lot easier than the ones he scored. And I think Johnny was too sure of it, and he went to blast it, kick it harder than he'd have. If you look at Dean Rock in the first half, the way he shepherded the ball over the bar, that's what you needed there.
17-10, Kieran Kilkenny at the other side of the field to Rock, laying the ball off, chance for Dublin for Colin Basquel. Goalkeeper Micheál Martin smothered, and Basquel sends the ball back again. Should be tapped over the bar for Dublin point. It is gone left and wide. Well, credit Micheál Martin, because Colin Basquel was right in on goal there, and Micheál Martin came out very, very quickly to deny the opportunity. When the ball was rebounded, it came back out, and Dublin missed the opportunity, and it remains still manageable from a Cork point of view. Brian Fenton, you would have put your house in him maybe that he was going to tap that over the bar, but he didn't. Well done to Micheál Martin. Here we have another Cork change on the way. Possibly, we're just waiting to see. It's going to be Fionn Holohy after his Sigerson exploits during the week. He's going to get a run. Must be in third bodies, but we see Daniel O'Mahony and Maurice Shanley both lasting the full game. Here is Cillian O'Hanlon. We're going into stoppage time shortly. A point in this game would be vital for Cork. A point on the scoreboard would level the match, with a point on the league table would be absolutely crucial. Cillian O'Hanlon being tracked there by Tom Lehiff and being fouled by the Dublin number 9, and O'Hanlon stands up and kicks the ball forward. A bit of work to do for Brian O'Driscoll, but he did well to get there. Has laid the ball off. Cork on the attack now. 50 out from goal. Back to Rory Dean. Rory Dean has Matty Taylor bombing up the left wing if he wants to play him. Instead he goes inside to Brian Hurley. Brian Hurley trying to step around the corner back. Mick Fitzsimons gives the ball out the field. Hurley again, right footed. He sends the ball to keep possession, to play safe at the moment, not to lose it. Gives it to Cillian O'Hanlon. O'Hanlon takes a couple of steps, lays the ball off. It's going to come back out the left wing to Matty Taylor eventually again. Matty Taylor to Conor Corbett. Corbett from Clyde Rovers. 50 out from goal here, underneath the stand, underneath the sideline here, on the southern stand side of the field to Colm O'Callaghan. We're into stoppage time. Cork a point behind. Ball has gone forward. Cork still trying to get an angle to get a shot in. Brian O'Driscoll still outside the 45. Back to Rory Maguire. Maguire sends it cross field towards Tommy Walsh. He's not within scoring range either. Cork will have to try the right hand side of the field. There'll be 7 minutes to stoppage time added on, I think, by the looks of it. So there's a lot of football to be played in this yet, as Rory Maguire has it for Cork. 45 metres out from goal, with no way through the blue sea at the moment. So he lays it back a metre or two to John O'Rourke, and he gives it to Daniel O'Mahony, and he gives it to Rory Maguire, and Maguire has got space, and Maguire gives it back to Daniel O'Mahony. The fullback is up, but he was just about to fire the trigger and he couldn't get the angle to get the shot in. He needs support over there. He's got it back again, has he, Daniel O'Mahony? No, it was intercepted en route back to him, and it's going to be a Cork sideline. Loads of time left, John Fintan Daly.
Yeah, well, I told you he took a lot of names, John. I'm not surprised. It looks like Fionn Hurley, he may get a run here, and I said it to you all along that the subs are going to matter. I don't know if Rory Dean has made much of an impact. He's finding it hard to get into the game, but some of these other subs have. Cillian O'Hanlon in particular, no surprise to me to see the impact he's making. And in the modern game now, these guys are vital. Conor Corbett is making a difference. Cillian O'Hanlon is making a big difference since he went in there. And of course, Dublin have subs in there. Household names like James McCarthy and Jack Caffrey have gone in there. And O'Dell there now has gone in again a while ago. But it's a 1 point game. It is hanging in the balance, and we have 5 full minutes left in this game yet.
The change is made from the Dohenys Club in Dunmanway. It is number 25, Fionn Hurley, who's replaced Brian O'Driscoll. Cork take the sideline in around the house. Has it hugged too far inside. It's caught inside. It's gone back. There's a chance here for Cork to try and get something. Hurley and referee has sounded the whistle. It was a square ball, I think, as the ball came in. Cork had one clean possession inside in the inside forward line. Again, a crescendo of boos, a ring around the ground here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh for that decision. It looked like they were about to recycle the ball back and might be able to conjure up a score, but unfortunately Colm O'Callaghan's big high fetch inside came to nothing. He was just inside the small square, and it's 17 points to 2 goals and 10, and it's Dublin on the attack again. They're a point ahead. Remember, they know how to see out tight matches. They've done it in bigger stages than this. We know all about that, but let's see what can happen at the moment. Jack McCaffrey out towards the right wing. It's eventually going to come out here towards the Dublin number 21 here, James McCarthy. McCarthy's 30 out from goal. He'll keep ball and then play it nice and calmly towards Brian Fenton, and Fenton plays it back towards McCaffrey, and McCaffrey again goes crossfield towards the other big midfielder, Tom Lehiff, and he comes down the left wing. Can Cork get their hands on this ball here? A great atmosphere here on Páirc Uí Chaoimh, but it's Dublin on the attack, trying to conjure something up in the score. They're playing keep ball over there, Dublin. They've got it to Conor Callan, they've got it to Costello, they got it back out the field again. 35 out from goal. They're playing keep ball, definitely. Mick Fitzsimons gives it to Brian Fenton. Fenton has an available outlet here on the left wing in the shape of Colin Basquel. It's gone back to Fenton again, and he plays it inside towards the number 19, David Bond, and he won't panic either. He'll give it to David Lehiff. You can feel at the moment the way Dublin have the ball, they could see out this 5 minutes. There's only 3.5 minutes remaining at the moment. 17 to 2 goals and 10. What we have, we hold at the moment maybe, and it is a 1 point lead. Tom Lehiff has gone central again. They're just playing from one side of the field to the other. This is Mick Fitzsimons. Injects a bit of life into the movement down to John Small, who's gone down towards the right corner near to the sideline, but it comes back out again, need we tell you. James McCarthy kicks it cross field And here go Dublin again. Jack McCaffrey, is he going to try and break the line? Well, he has broken it. Oh, he's broken 2 or 3 challenges. He's in for a score and he gets the score. He was the only man with the ambition and the desire to do it. And Jack McCaffrey, just in a twinkling of an eye, he's fresh, he's lively legs, and he broke through 3 Cork players, 18-2-10.
You can't beat class, John. We've seen him doing that when he was a top, an all-star footballer, and he never lost that. It's a 2-point game now. But I'll tell you, the referee hasn't endeared himself in this game from both sides, and Cork got very annoyed with him. But the 2-point lead, and time is running out for Cork.
Only 2.5 minutes remaining in this contest. Cork might need to raise a green flag. Matty Taylor out the left wing towards John O'Rourke, the Calgary Rangers player, heading for the 20, but he's heading for the corner flag as well, so needs plenty of assistance there. Might get it running in field. Cork with possession. Can they try and get a free? Rory Dean thought he might have claimed it, but instead the ball has broken away fortuitously for Dublin, and it's been picked up here by Darren Newcombe, and Newcombe will send the ball down into the corner to Conor Callan, and Conor Callan is unceremoniously grounded by Daniel O'Mahony, and that will be definitely a card, because Dublin were away on a counter-attack after Newcombe won the ball. He got it to O'Callaghan, and standing over the ball now with 11 on his back is Kieran Kilkenny. A card for the Cork defender, 2 points on the board, but Dublin crucially now with the ball, and 90 seconds isn't that long to keep it and hold what they have, as Tom Lehef gives it to Kieran Kilkenny. Kilkenny is 40 out for the Cork goal, heading towards the Blackrock side of the field to the fishing village here. No one in the terraces here, unlike the day in 83 when it was a sea of blue down there. Dublin get the ball over the far wing to Lachlan O'Dell, another sub on there. Ball has been sent back out. Dublin 45 out from goal. The clock will tell us we've 70 seconds remaining. They're in no particular hurry to do anything too constructive in this movement, because they lead by 2 points at the moment, just ambling through the Cork defence. But then the ball was loose. It was a very loose pass, so Cork now have a long way up with Killian O'Hanlon to try and move from one side of the field to the other. But John O'Rourke is involved, and he lays the ball off. Listen to the Cork crowd in the background really getting behind their team. A free has been won. 65 out from goal, right out in the whitewash on the sideline on the river side of the ground here in Páirc Uí Chaoimh, with 40 seconds remaining and 2 points between the teams. We've got a few famous goals into the City goal. Remember Tyke Murphy's goal in 83, and remember Mark Keane's goal in recent years. I wonder, would there be another famous goal coming late on in this 2023 league tie? Cork need it. The game is underway with Tommy Walsh. They need to send a high booming ball in. It's gone in from Daniel O'Mahony. Can somebody get a touch? Can they get a fist? It's a Dublin man who's inside, trying to break out of a mini scrum there. The ball has been lost. Cork trying to fashion up something. The ball has come back out. A shot by Daniel O'Mahony. Sprung back out again. A challenge by the Dublin man. It's on the ground, and Dublin have scrambled the ball away, and the counter-attack and the break is on. And the clock has been beaten, and it's 18-2-10, and Dublin surely a home now for one moment. We just thought there might be a magical Cork moment. Colin Basquel has the ball on the break for Dublin. He's on the way towards goal. He's heading for the exclusion zone. Left footed, he kicks the ball right and wide, but that could be it. The Rator has looked at the watch again. 77 and a half have been played. Cork are 2 points behind. The referee, what's he going to do? He's going to give the opportunity to Micheál Martin to go again. Maybe one more moment, maybe one more breath. The Dublin forward has been penalised there. I think he was trying to prevent the quick Cork kick out as the yellow card. They'll take that because it has slowed the game down. Conor Callan won't be too worried about that, getting a yellow card later on this game. We're into 1 minute added on at the end of the 7 minutes of stoppage time, as Matty Taylor goes forward and pumps the ball up to Conor Corbett, 25 metres out from goal, but out in the sideline. Great pace as he comes infield. Cork need a goal. They've laid it off to Brian Hawley. Left footed, he goes for it. It came off the crossbar and it's ricocheted back out the field again. And now the referee has sounded the whistle. Well, it was almost the most dramatic finale, and if any man deserved to win the game, it was Brian Hawley. Great Cork performance, but unfortunately no points for it in the end. Dublin win, John Fenton Daly, 18-2-10. One quick comment, we'll hand back for a break and review in detail shortly.
Yeah, well, look, Cork gave as good as they got. Looking back in retrospect, it wasn't Stephen Sherlock's day, and those points, chances he missed in the first half, John, ended up being critical. But it was a real, character building performance from Cork. And if they can learn to transition the ball a bit quicker and trust their inside forwards, and that's not just Brian Hurley, if they can do that, they'll be a match for the best. And look, it's very hard to judge a league because players are being tried out, guys are being brought in, other guys are being rested. It's very hard to know. But from Cork's point of view, we don't get the result, but it's a great performance, and provided that we don't get into any relegation trouble. For Cork, you see, John, historically, the devil for us has been inconsistency. You come along one week, you put up a performance like that. Now, we've Limerick here next week. We have the same number of points available next week, and we need to win that one next week.
It has finished here with the points going to Dublin, Rory. 18 points to 2 goals and 10. Join us very shortly as we look back in the game.